Hey guys, got a quick show with Eddie Mannis today. Called in from Nashville. We had a tight window, squeeze in some good stuff. Fun little interruption from my mother. But like I said, it's good to catch up with Eddie for just a few minutes. See what's been going on, see what it's like being a first timer in the house here in the state of Tennessee. We look forward to learning more about him as time goes on. It's Eddie Mannis, District 18 State Representative. We are almost agreement at gmail.com. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Our website is live at almostinagreement.com. Check us out and see what you think of our mini episode with Mr. Mannis.
That office looking good.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
I mean,
Finally.
Your office at home was a nice backdrop too, to be fair. So we got a limited time, and I got a little screwy, so I'm doing this on my phone instead of in the studio like I like to do it. But
Okay.
I got to take the time I can get because you're a busy man. So where do you want to start?
It's that time. You start. I'll start wherever you want to start.
I mean, I don't know, but like I said, for us, one of the big things we like to try to figure out the process of things. So you've been in the seat for what, 2 full months now, working hard.
Yeah, really since November, but really the legislative process kicked in about 2 months ago. So I've been in the thick of things now for 2 months.
Gotcha. So I mean, how was orientation and stuff like that? As far as like, is it a well-oiled machine and like, here's your office, here are the people to talk to, or is it just kind of is it really just Joey doing all the legwork for you?
Well, no, it's there's an orientation process, and there are people that you can go to for help and figuring out things. I think they do as good as they possibly could. There's just a lot here, and there's a lot they can't really tell you because it can change, and it all depends on where you are in the process. But we reach out to a lot of different people, a lot of people here, just around us. I mean, my colleagues and then assistants, the legislative assistants to people here on the floor are all very, very helpful and very willing to do whatever it takes to try to get you up to speed. But sometimes with the legislative process and introducing legislation, you kind of have to feel your way through it, make your mistakes, and and everybody's had a first time, so everyone here knows what that feels like. So
right, I get you. Okay, so one of the things that I've been working on kind of locally that's been interesting is Randy Pace is stepping down as the party chair here in Knoxville, right. And so there's the race for replacing him. And so one of the things, again, I don't know if you remember, but I'm not a party person. I'm certainly not a major party person. And so trying to understand how the parties work in the background, I can't quite get to is there any point where you reach out to the either state SEC or the state party or the county party for help on maybe a stance on a certain issue or anything like that? Or is it something that once you get past campaigning, the party kind of falls into the background?
Yeah, I can't think of a situation, and again, I'm a freshman, but I can't think of a scenario where we would reach out specifically to the party, the Knox County GOP, and I can't think of a situation where it'd be the state party. More people, we would be reaching out to more people within our district and more people that the legislation might directly impact than the state or local GOP.
Okay, I understand. So let me flip the question a little bit different.
Okay.
Does the party either at the state or the local level ever reach out to your office with an agenda item or something like that?
Let me think about that. Not as of yet.
Okay.
I can see where it might happen, but I don't think it would happen frequently.
Okay. Again, because one of the things I'm trying to understand about the way the parties work in the background is what their actual, I mean, it's one of the things I ask all the time is what is the job of whomever? And so I'm trying to understand what the job of the party is and whether it's the question of what the job is supposed to be or what it actually is what I'm trying to get to the bottom of.
Right.
So I'm on the phone, Mom. Oh, my mom's here. Say hello to my mother. Eddie Mannis, this is my mom.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I will leave. I'm not wanted.
Well, I told you I was doing an interview. Give me a second. Man, I feel like a 15-year-old all over again.
You're at my house, so I'm allowed.
Yeah, I got stuck out of the house of the whole thing. That's my most painful interruption, I think, so far. The dog is usually the one that does it, so it's an upgrade for my mother. Right. Okay, so I don't know. One of the questions I always get to with my city council and my commissioners is I try to keep up. I try to follow the news. And we have the big button issues that everybody's talking about. But what's something that you've worked on so far that maybe hasn't gotten the attention you feel like it should have?
Well, I mean, as freshmen, we come in and it all depends on who you ask, whether you should, kind of sit and learn and kind of absorb, or you should really take on legislation. So, I've taken on some bigger issues, but one of the things that really is important that, the texting 911 bill, everybody thinks that, sure, you can text 911 if you have an emergency. Well, you can, but they didn't have the equipment to really process that text and respond back to you. And so even in Knox County, we did not have that technology. So I've been working with Senator Massey to get that in place, and that will be moving forward and will be heard pretty soon, I think, in committee. And we hope if that passes, we'll have texting technology for abductions, kidnaps, school shootings where you really can't talk on the phone, but you can text and communicate. So we hope that legislation will pass. And I think that we're looking for a September 2023 for an implementation end date. So we hope we can get that in by September 2023.
Yeah, because I know Knox County's either got theirs in place or has passed it and working on putting it in place, because that's something that I was pretty excited about going on locally here.
Yep, they're working on it. We did that press release last week. It'll be
statewide in
yes.
2023 if this works out. So I could be in Cook County or Cott County or something like that, and it'll still work.
Right.
Neat. Yep. That's a cool one. Anything else that jumps out at you?
Oh, let's see. I am working with Senator Yarborough on trying to set up a fund where we can make micro business loans to minorities. The extent would be probably a $5,000 maximum loan, but there are lots of small businesses that are started on $5,000. I started my company on less than $5,000. So I think that's going to be important to help our minority communities really get started on some small business concept that they have. So we're going to work that through the process and see where that goes. Let's see where else I am. I'm working on a couple of bills. I'm carrying one for the comptroller's office and then one for the Department of Revenue. So
I got to ask about the comptroller one. What's going on there?
So the comptroller bill is, let me think exactly how to explain that. There is a $15 gun carrying permit fee, and it's $15 to file that. And the comptroller has to audit that account every year. And they've done it. It's not a lot of dollars there, but there's a lot of time involved in auditing that account. So we are asking with this piece of legislation to forego the audit, not forego the permit fee, but just forego the audit of that account just from the time standpoint. So it's pretty simple and maximizing auditors to, they can spend their time doing other things.
Okay, well, if I again, me trying to put a bunch of pieces together, Governor Lee's working on what is it called, the constitutional carry, so we wouldn't have to file a permit fee anyway. So what's the point? Or we think that one's not going to go?
Well, I don't know what the governor thinks about that, but the comptroller is the one that brought this to me. So the comptroller and I did not have that conversation about what happens if, I guess if the governor's constitutional carry bill moves forward, then there would not be a need for that. So we have not had that conversation.
Because I just finished my classes and all that stuff and just did the whole application process. And I'm all bummed that I might have spent this $85 and all the hours to getting the paperwork done and then not have to need it on the other side. But the things change all the time. If we assume they stay the same, then we're never going anywhere.
Sure.
Yeah. And again, like I said, I'd be remiss. My buddy Sam, who's one of the co-hosts on the main show, he's always talking about the importance of the comptroller, and none of us quite understand the job. So whenever we get an occasion to ask about it, we need to jump on that. Okay. And so you said you have a what was the second one? A taxing?
It's a Department of Revenue. So
okay.
The Department of Revenue, if there's if they're doing tax collections, if whoever goes through the bankruptcy process and whatever length of time that bank, I think the Department of Revenue only has 6 years to collect that debt. So if the individual is going through a bankruptcy, then they lose the ability to collect the debt during the bankruptcy period, but the time clock keeps running, if that makes sense. So if the bankruptcy period takes a year, then the Department of Revenue has lost a year out of that time to try to settle the tax collection or the tax debt. So trying to just make those coincide together. So if the collection period, or if they are prohibited to move forward with the collection, that time stops. And then whenever the bankruptcy is finished, it can start again and move forward. Okay.
All right. So to bring back to another local one we're having, if I remember correctly, Lafferty introduced the special tax district for the baseball stadium here. Is that something that's got out of committee yet, or is it still in committee?
It has not gotten out of committee yet. I don't even know if that has been put on notice yet. Okay. But actually, Jason Zachary did that.
Zachary, I'm sorry. You're correct. Zachary. Right. I apologize for that. I'm trying to keep up with everybody. There's lots of people in this party.
Hey, so it's hard to keep up with.
And so I don't know, I guess just to follow that through, I get the feeling of talking locally in the different parts of that it's kind of on the way to happening if it can. So one of the hurdles being in the way would be whether or not we can get this tax district in place. Obviously if it hasn't left committee yet, you haven't seen it, but do you feel like it's something that'll likely go through when it gets out of committee?
Since I've been here, I don't speculate on what will go through and what will not go through. I mean, things that I think would sell through have their list of challenges. I do think personally that, I mean, there's a lot of information that's being misrepresented about that. So you really have to look long and hard. And I think the opposition is putting out some false information. I have a little bit of knowledge from my time at the city about the TDZ zone, or the TDZ, and how that works. And I know that the Knoxville Convention Center is in a TDZ, and it's pretty close to being retired. So, I would be, at this point, I would certainly lean toward being in favor of that. I think that the baseball stadium and all the surroundings around the baseball stadium, if it moves forward, will certainly impact Knoxville in a positive way. So I think a lot of it will be kind of left up to the Knoxville delegation, but it's going to be an uphill battle. I mean, we're going to have to work hard for it, and so we'll see where that goes.
Okay, so you mentioned the convention center expiring and stuff like that. So I guess one of the questions that I think when I'm talking to people about this special tax district plan is it won't affect state services to local residents. Right. It'll just, whatever new money's collected from that spot that would go to the state stays local to pay that debt. Is that accurate?
There is a percentage of that, instead of going to the state, does stay local in that zone, whatever is collected in that zone. And for example, with the convention center, there was a zone just like that. And it was more that downtown area over toward the convention center that went to retire the debt of the convention center, or to help retire the debt of the convention center. Right. Right now, if you look at where the baseball stadium is I guess scheduled to be built, there's really nothing there. There's no taxes really being generated off of that property right now. So with the baseball stadium and bringing tourism in, bringing people into that part of town, there's going to be tax revenue generated from that versus it's either zero right now or with the ability to be huge once the stadium is built. So go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because again, this is, and maybe I could hold this off for later, but so that would be the local portion would still stay local and not be part of the debt payoff.
Right.
Okay. That's something that I'm trying to still work on. Like, I'm excited. Next Monday, I have the Mamatov and the team coming in, and we're going to do a show where we really break down numbers, because I think that's where most people are lost in it. Like, some people feel like it's just every Knox County citizen is dropping a $20 bill on the table and they're going to build a baseball stadium with it. And trying to understand this financing, I think, is the number one most important aspect of making the decision on it, is knowing what the financing actually means.
Agree. I think that's where the misrepresentation comes in, because, you know, it's a kind of playing for the cheap seats, and it's a soundbite that, you know, every Knox County taxpayer is going to share the brunt of that. And that's just not true. I mean, you know, I guess, you know, if it totally bombed and never the increase in the property values and the property value the way it sets now, and I'm talking about from a property tax standpoint, you know, just the property tax is increasing on the property. But then the sales tax, and that's the sales tax is really where that comes from. There is going to be an increase. So, you know, I don't think any of us really think that it would be a total bomb. So I feel very positive about the opportunity. And it's something that we have talked about since we lost the Smokies way back when, you know. Right. And I think it would be a really unfortunate situation for the future of Knox County if we were not able to seize this opportunity.
Right. I mean, again, like, I go back and forth on my where I sit with it, like, you know, and again, trying to get, not having the details and not understanding the details, I think, is the most frustrating part, and that's what I'm really working to get out. Listen,
well, you meet your podcast next week with Mark Mamontoff and the team. Mark is the expert, so he will be able to explain all of that. So you're on the right track.
Well, see, the problem is what I'm really going to do is I'm going to sneak that whole conversation into him building a program for me to put in an application for a major project for the city and county to help me with.
There you go.
Well, I know you got a short window for me today, and I appreciate you taking the time. Is there anything else you want to go over real quick before you got to get?
I don't think so. I think that pretty much covers it.
All right, Eddie. Well, I appreciate your time. Hopefully we can do it again soon, maybe with a little bit bigger window to play with, but keep working at it, man. It's been fun to watch. It's been interesting trying to keep up with all the parts and pieces. And if you ever need me for anything, please feel free to reach out.
Okay. Thanks, Seth. Take care.
Thank you, Eddie.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that's that. Told you it was a quick one. Like I said, a quick check-in with Mr. Mannis. Hello from my mother, just for fun. I guess to be fair, my schedule got a little sideways as well as Mr. Mannis's, so that's why we didn't get to spend more time together. And I was doing it through my phone in the car, so I apologize for the audio quality of this episode. But I've been teasing Eddie Mannis for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I was happy to catch him for a second. And just to touch base, so we're almost in agreement at gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. The website is live, almostinagreement.com. Check us out to learn more, and tell your friends about us. Help us spread the word and grow as a platform for you and your neighbors to know more about what's going on in your community. Have a great day.